Oh, what's happening? What is happening? What is happening? What is happening? Press one if you can hear me. What is happening? Press one if you can hear me. Press one if you can hear me. Woo. Y'all getting a well rested up, man. Mm. Yeah, man. What a day. He said he's already asleep. You're funny. No, not yet, man. Not yet, man. I'm still awake, man. I'm still awake. I'm still awake, man. No. Yo, man, I can say this though. We in good hands at the border, man. We in good hands at that border, man. We're in good hands at the border. Have you guys seen the new press one if you've heard the new border chief? Yeah, we're in good hands at the border. Why do I feel so good? Why do I not care, man? What's wrong with me, man? Why do I not care, man? I'm ashamed of myself, man. That I don't care, man. This is some sad shit, man. I'm supposed to care, man. I'm supposed to be like, man, don't do these people like this, man. I'm supposed to care. They can't send me back to Africa, man. Oh yeah, that's right. They gonna send all people of color back. They are sending all people of color back. So yeah, I gotta be careful. I gotta be careful because Sunday Hostin and all the and AOC, man, they said they gonna send all people of color back. They sending all people of color back. So everybody got worried now, man. We all gotta be worried, man. Fuck. What do we vote for, man? Let's see Tom Homan. Let me show y'all Tom Homan, man. Tom Homan, man. This dude is this is a real white man, man. This is how white people used to be, man. Make white people great again, man. Make white people great again, man.
President-elect Donald Trump announced that he will nominate New York member of Congress Elise Stefanik to be the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. She has been one of his closest.
Remember, he was supposed to be a misogynist, his chief of staff, and his chief of staff and his ambassador, his UN ambassador and his chief of staff are women. And he posted in this. And listen, I want you to notice this. All the women, all the we women, and we love women and women's rights people, none of them have congratulated that woman who he named as the first female chief of staff. Press one. None of them, we are the world of women. Feminists, none of the feminists have congratulated. I'm not even saying they have to congratulate Trump. None of them have congratulated the woman he nominated as the first female chief of staff ever. None of them. None of them have given her a tweet. We want to, oh, look, you go, girl. You the first female chief of staff, man. We've been waiting 800 years for this, man. I'm not a fan of Trump, but girl, I'm a fan of you. I'm not a fan of Trump, but girl, I'm a fan of you. None of them. It's just crazy. They talk about the glass ceiling. The glass ceiling. The glass ceiling. Shout out to Nick Town, man. Susie Weiss. The glass ceiling has kept us from this woman right here. Where's she at? Right here. This woman right here, Susie Weiss. The glass ceiling has kept us from achieving such milestones. If it's misogynist, sexist men, okay, so now you got the first female chief of staff in the history of the country. Wow. Yo, women. Listen, I don't want to hear nothing else about women's rights. I don't want to hear another thing about women's rights. I don't want to hear another thing about women's rights.
President-elect Donald Trump announced that he will nominate New York member of Congress Elise Stefanik to be the U.S.
Yeah, man. Nah, just you know how it is when you doing something. Everybody wanna. That's when they want you at that. That's the time they gotta. Shout out to my man Mark Ishmael, man. Shout out to the homie Aster J, man. He said, welcome to the club. I don't care. He shipped them all back, man. Women and child. Oh, I'm about to get into that. I'm about to get into that. Let me run upstairs, get this. I'll be right back in like 30 seconds, man. Yeah, man. Fucking hit my head on this fucking thing up here, man. Shit. Um, but yeah. Uh, let's see, man. Let's see what they whining about today.
Closest allies in Congress for years now. In a statement to CNN, Trump said, quote, I am honored to nominate Chairwoman Elise Stefanik to serve in my cabinet as U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations. Elise is an incredibly strong, tough, and smart America First fighter. So this is just one announcement, a sense of where he might be going in terms of foreign policy. Let's get right to CNN's Steve Conterno for where this fits and what else might be coming, Steve.
Yeah, John, Stefanik is someone who has been increasingly close with Trump over the years. She was actually one of his, not on the short list to be a potential running mate for Donald Trump. She campaigned pretty aggressively for that job. Ultimately, though, did not make his final three and obviously was not the choice. But she was always in line for a potential job in the Trump administration. And now she takes the job of UN ambassador, assuming that she is confirmed. Obviously, it's also a job that Nikki Haley once had, interestingly enough, someone who ultimately grew to become one of Donald Trump's biggest rivals in the Republican Party and who will not be part of his administration this go around. She joins Tom Homan as the two people who have already been named to positions in a new Trump administration. Homan will be a border czar. He was, of course, Trump's ICE director in his first term as president. He is someone who has been intimately involved in shaping Trump's immigration policies. He actually wrote an entire chapter for the Project 2025 book on immigration and was a contributor to that. In the last couple of weeks, we have been trying to get a sense of how Homan views the efforts of trying to send, this giant migrant movement out of the country. And here's what he's.
He's stuttering, man. He trying to lie. He trying to minimize it. They trying to minimize what Trump has done. We're giving all these females these high positions. They can't. They trying to minimize it without seeming sexist. Press one. They're trying to minimize him hiring all these females to these high positions. Trying to minimize that, make that seem small, without seeming sexist against the women. So that's what all the fumbling and because they want to make it seem like it's nothing, but you could also get in trouble because you could be called sexist. So it's like it's a tightrope they're walking here. They have to walk a very tight rope, and this guy's having trouble. He's stumbling and fumbling over his words.
Have already been named to positions in a new Trump administration. Homan will be a border czar. He was, of course, Trump's ICE director in his first term as president. He is someone who has been intimately involved in shaping Trump's immigration policies. He actually wrote an entire chapter for the Project 2025 book on immigration and was a contributor to that. In the last couple of weeks, we have been trying to get a sense of how Homan views the efforts of trying to send, this giant migrant movement out of the country. And here is what he said on Fox just moments ago about how he sees that taking place.
I've been clear, President Trump's been clear. Public safety threats and national security threats will be the priority because they have to be. They pose the most danger to this country. So we're going to prioritize those groups, those who always have minorities, those that had due process at great taxpayer expense, and the federal judge said you must go home, and they didn't. They became a fugitive. Work-like operations have to happen. Here's why, Steve. Where do we find most victims of sex trafficking and forced labor trafficking? At work sites. And the Biden administration shut down work sites.
Now, all these decisions are coming from Trump as he stays camped out at Mar-a-Lago in the weeks since.
No commentary on that. He just made an excellent point. He said, we're going to do raids on work sites because that's where you find the most victims of forced human trafficking. Women being forced to sell their bodies for money. That's where you find them, on work sites. And we're going to raid those work sites because that's where you find a lot of illegals that are involved in human trafficking. That should be a great thing. That should be followed up with a lot of commentary. That should be followed up with like, hooray, man. Awesome, man. Saving all these women from sex trafficking, man. That's awesome. That should have been followed up with, and even if you weren't going to say hooray or great job, this news anchor should have at least said something.
Work-like operations have to happen. Here's why, Steve. Where do we find most victims of sex trafficking and forced labor trafficking? At work sites. And the Biden administration shut down work sites.
Now, all these decisions are coming from Trump as he stays camped out at Mar-a-Lago in the weeks since his re-election, where he is getting a lot of influence from many of the people who were key to his victory, including RFK Jr., Susie Wiles, who has gone from campaign manager to chief of staff, and also Elon Musk, who obviously was intensely involved in the effort to get Donald Trump elected. He has had an outsized role in shaping influence around Donald Trump's new administration. We always knew he was in line for some sort of role, potentially overseeing spending, but it has been far more expansive than that. And he has grown apparently close with the Trump family. Take some look at some of the pictures posted to social media by Trump's granddaughter with Elon Musk with the Trump family, and clearly is finding himself with an influential part of Trump's early sort of cabal of people who are helping set up his new government. It's an interesting development given how much wealth he has, how much conflicts he has throughout the world, what he has already done in China, what he is doing with the war effort in Ukraine, and it'll be interesting to see what role he has, official or otherwise, in the Trump administration going forward.
Yeah, his fingerprints, Elon Musk's fingerprints or Twitter prints all over the place right now during this transition. Steve Conterno, thank you very much for that.
We just heard announced that Tom Homan, the former head of ICE, is going to be Trump's border czar. He had a conversation on 60 Minutes. I want to play a little bit of that.
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there's. Families can be deported together. It's not going to be a mass sweep of neighborhoods. It's not going to be building concentration camps.
Yo, when he said that, I said, man, this is like the white men back in the 80s, man. When I was growing up, this is how white men acted, man. White men have gone like, white men are just different nowadays, man. They all pansies, man. They all walk around with, I think probably 30% of white men walk around with a butt plug in their ass nowadays, man. Press one. At least 30%, man. How many? Well, I'll let you guys answer. What percentage of white men, modern white men, do you think walk around with a butt plug in their ass? This guy remind me of the white dudes back in the day, man. He was refreshing, man. This dude was refreshing, man. They weren't expecting this answer.
He had a conversation on 60 Minutes. I want to play a little bit of that.
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there's. Families can be deported together. It's not going to be a mass.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Yo. Yo. Yeah. Yo. Whoa. That's what I was talking about last night. If you watched the show last night, that's what I was talking about. Where's that type of attitude at, man? Well, you won. You won. Hello, conservatives, you won. Why you I still running around scared, man, off of instinct, man? That's all I was saying last night.
Hello, I'm Robert.
That's all I was saying last night, man. Was you won. Why are you running around scared? Just scared off of instinct like a baby deer and shit. Just naturally scared. Yeah, man, that's all I was saying last night, man. I gotta find this guy's comment. This guy tried to read me the riot act last night, man, on the comment section, man. I got something for you, man. I got something for you, D-Ledge. I hope you watching, man. But yeah, man. Yeah, man. But doesn't that mean families will be deported? Well, yo, the way he answered that question, man. The way he answered that question. The way he answered that question, man, was, I swear this, when I was young, Reagan was president. And this is how all Reagan people used to talk, man. They used to play around with you Negroes, man. Okay? Shout out to Ike, man. Shout out to you, man. When Reagan was president, they didn't play around with you Negroes, man. Or now you goddamn immigrants, man. Not playing with you, man. You're not playing with you POCs, man.
And the former head of ICE is going to be Trump's border czar. He had a conversation on 60 Minutes. I want to play a little bit of that.
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there's. Families can be deported together. It's not going to be a mass sweep of neighborhoods. It's not going to be building concentration camps. I've read it all. It's ridiculous.
So, Scott, how do you see this being Trump's policy sort of being meted out?
Well, first of all, I think Mr. Homan is the exact right choice, and I'm glad the president has moved on that so quickly because it was such a big part of his campaign. Number two, look, there's a whole bunch of people in this country that don't need to be here. In fact, there's, I think, 1.3 million people who've already received deportation orders from federal courts. They've already had due process. They need to leave. And so there's a good place to start. There's a whole other bunch of people who are here that we know have committed violent crimes, either where they were or since they've been here. They need to be sent away as well. So there are large numbers of people that need to be taken out of this country. And I think Mr. Homan is going to be the person who's most capable of getting that done. And for those who think that this is somehow unusual, it's not. Every administration deports people. Barack Obama deported all kinds of people, lots of people, in fact. And so it's something that the executive branch can and should do when due process has occurred, or when we know there are people in the country who wish harm on American citizens. This should not be controversial. And in fact, in the campaign, it wasn't. Polling repeatedly showed that people supported Trump's viewpoint on this issue.
Karen, what is your view after what you heard from Tom Homan?
Look, I think let's just stipulate. I think everyone agrees that if you are a criminal, a violent criminal in particular, that should be the priority in terms of deportation. And so I don't think there's disagreement on that. And again, with regard to others, I think the questions, and we'll have to see, frankly, how it unfolds, because we really weren't given details during the campaign. What we just heard from Mr. Homan, that's actually more detail than we got largely during the campaign about how this would work. How do you determine who are the individuals that are going to be deported? And will, again, when we talk about separating families, so if what we're saying then potentially is if a child is an American citizen, in order not to separate that family, you could be deporting an American citizen with a parent who may not be here legally. So I think that's one of.
Yeah. And, you know, boo-hoo. The world is a dangerous place where bad things happen all the fucking time. Bad things happen all the goddamn time. Okay? They only care about certain bad things happening. She's fine with a billion babies being aborted, but then she's crying about some goddamn fictional kid being hypothetically separated from his goddamn fucking Mexican mother. I don't hear nothing about women's rights no more. I'm tired of women's rights, man. No more women's rights talk, man. We're done with that shit, man. Y'all voted for WAP. Yeah, deport all of them, man. Get them all out of here. All of them. Get out of here. I don't feel nothing, man. I don't feel sorry for them people at all. Get them out of here. And if for no other reason that they broke the law. It don't have to be deep. It don't have to be all of this deep philosophical shit. Get them out of here because they broke the fucking law by coming here. Let that be the only reason. It don't even have to be no fucking moral reason. We only had to get in the weeds morally and start all the consternation and hemming and hawing. Get them out of here because they came here illegally. The end. If you sneak into the fucking movies with your fucking kid, they're gonna arrest your ass. And guess what? Your kid's not gonna be in the fucking drunk tank with you. Press 1. Get rid of these people, man. Get them out of here, man. That shit erodes the rule of law. That makes crime higher. When people are just recklessly breaking laws, get all of those people the fuck out of here. He said, am I on dial-up? Why you say am I on dial-up? I'm at Airbnb, man. I'm not on no dial-up. I'm on, you know how when I'm in the Airbnb, man, you know how it gets down. Yeah, deport all of them, man. Get rid of all of them. I don't care. I don't feel nothing. Like I don't feel nothing. I don't feel any a shred. And I'm not trying to be cold. My initial reaction is that I don't feel anything. It would be because if I felt something, I would be like, yeah, you know what, man, Trump Trump might have went a little too far with this shit, man. Nah, I don't feel nothing for these people. Get them out of here. Kick rocks. Beat it. Beat it, beat it, beat it, beat it. Don't you want to beat it? Don't, That's what they should play at the airport, man. I would be cold if they did that at the airport. Had that playing on the loudspeaker at the airport. Beat it, beat it, beat it, beat it, beat it, beat
The homeless.
it. I want to show y'all something, man. California's already starting to shape up too, man. The Trump effect is crazy.
When people are looting Nike stores here in Los Angeles, they're not going to feed their families with those shoes. They are stealing most likely to further drug addiction or just to plain make money. And so the progressive movement has really taken us away from common sense. They live in a fantasy world and they really see the perpetrators of these crimes as victims of the criminal justice system.
Welcome to Undercurrents, our daily news show from Unheard's Washington Bureau. Today's guest is Soledad Ursua. Subscribe here wherever you get your podcasts and over at undercurrents.tv for the full premium experience of the show. Today's a special California edition of Undercurrents, and with a new president-elect, the election results in California last week got much less attention than they deserve. That coming to
Yo, can you hear me? Yo, you on mute. Yo, you on mute. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey,
What's
you
up,
on
man?
mute. Yo, I'm gonna need Trump to deport my girl, man. She be tripping.
Why she tripping?
Man, come on. You know the answer to that, Chief. You know the answer to that?
No, man. I mean, she got to thoroughly understand the policy, right? You know, she a woman, man. Women rights, man. She thoroughly
Uh,
understands policy. I can't
nah,
sleep with a woman like that.
nah, I'm not even talking about policy, bro. I'm just talking about life.
Oh, so does she know people that are gonna be getting the good old heave ho?
No, no, none of us. No, we don't know nobody that. I mean, as far as we know, shit, I might get deported, Chief. I don't know. You feel me?
Uh,
I am an anchor after all.
oh yeah, you're an anchor, but you're not a baby no more. But yeah,
No,
man.
I'm an anchor man.
Yeah, you're an
I'm an
anchor
anchor
man.
hombre.
That's right.
I'm an anchor hombre.
Anchor hombre.
What was that one line from the anchor man, the Take and Bake? Or was that the other movie?
Oh, he's so many lines from anchor man. Um,
I but jokes aside though, man, that one glider king, right? The immigration, right? We need a glider king to talk like that about crime. Where he at though?
I think he's coming, man. He's got to be
I don't
coming,
know.
man.
Nah, you think
Listen.
so?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's got to be coming. Think about this. Trump he's delivering. He's putting people in every in and he's about to put Ricky Rubio in charge of
Oh yeah, I
um
saw
um
that. Secretary of
uh,
State.
yeah. He Trump is a delegator. He's always been a delegator as a businessman. He didn't build Trump Tower. He wasn't the foreman on the site of the Trump Tower. He delegates. He picks the right people to do the jobs. So yeah, I got
Yeah,
confidence that he's gonna
yeah.
pick somebody for that.
Well, you know what, man? I don't know, man. To ruffle those feathers, the tough one, Jack. You know what I mean? Though some
Yeah,
people are a protected class after all.
yeah, and listen, he did the First Step Act and the Second Chance Act for in his first term for the older black people that had done their time and all that shit.
Right.
And niggas and I mean, listen, I'm not saying that he's gonna come out and be like, yeah, we're gonna fucking lock every black. He's not gonna say that like he said that about immigrants because he didn't run on that.
Right, right, right. His mandate for sure is the economy and the border.
So yeah, he didn't run on crime. So yeah, so I think he's just gonna do it, and it's gonna get done. I'm gonna show you what they're doing in California in a second because I gotta give my daughter some water.
Yeah,
She yeah, but hold it down for me while I give my daughter some water. All right.
yeah, all right. The portal gates to Afghanistan with the Taliban, that shit is gonna get ugly real quick. Yo, but I heard and not to upset you glider kings, but I heard the one immigration glider king talking about he don't want what y'all gonna do? I mean, how y'all gonna get high and shit? You know? What's he gonna get rid of cocaine as well? You gliders don't want that. If this glider king manages to stop drugs coming in this country, there will be a revolution. Tell me I'm wrong. Nah, I voted for Trump, man. I need a vacation, a quick trip back to good old Mexico, and then I'll be right back. Taking your job, boy. Yo, but that is kind of sad though. If you ask me to let some beaner who don't even speak the language take your job. I mean, come on now, tighten shit up, boy. I mean, I think y'all have the superior DNA. I can't tell. Yeah, I'm just fucking like this. Shout out to all my Ag Nation nationalists. Where you at? Hit the link, my nationalists. I'm sure you guys are very happy, but maybe not. You guys are never really happy. At least not until you know what. A la fisherman. No, but jokes aside, man, I'm glad to see personally, I'm glad to see Trump won. I was hearing liberals say that they voted for Kamala for their kids. I voted for Trump for my kids. I mean, I can't be I can't be the only one that thinks this alphabet shit is insane, right? No way I'm the only one. Maybe I am. I feel like that kid that's yelling the emperor has no clothes, right? It's upside down world. And do I think Trump is the end all be all? Hell no. Hell no, he's not. But I think Kamala would have been a disaster. As a matter of fact, have y'all seen anybody seen Joe Biden? Where's he at? Is he still alive?
I think right now, Trump Trump got so much power right now, he could suspend the Constitution and say, "Look, I'm just going to be
Man,
president till I pass away."
he can't run anymore, right?
No,
After
he
this one,
can't.
because he did the
No,
last one.
it's the last time. Man.
I
This is
would, yeah, I don't think he could. My girl's saying that he could, but I doubt it.
so. Yeah, theoretically, I don't think he could. But tell me this though: how is the Hispanic community? How is the Latinx, as the liberals would say? How's the
Yeah.
Latinx
Well, I
community
mean,
dealing with this?
look, people, the people closest to me, they wanted Trump because they would see, the Venezuelans getting all that free shit, right? Um,
Uh-huh.
but I think people, nonetheless, with that said, are a little bit uneasy. You know, um, like I got people that have been here since the Reagan amnesty, so I think they should be good, right? But I guess they're worried that Trump will fuck around and I don't know. I don't know what they think. But there's no way like he's gonna go. I can't imagine him going all the way back to like the 80s and getting dumb people that came here illegally, They've been here, you know? I mean, I got
Yeah,
cousins. Yeah, I got cousins here that, that were in the military, others that died, that were locked up gang banging. You know how that
yeah,
shit goes on. It's America, baby. Come on now.
right. Wow. Shout out to LRLRS, man. Salute to you, man. Salute to my
But
man Eric S in the building.
but what is that gonna look like? As far as like literally, how is it gonna look like,
Look at this transgender right here. This is like a famous black transgender and shit, right? Laverne
Yeah,
Cox, man. She's revealed that she may be leaving the country.
going where?
I don't care, man. I
It
just
don't
I
even
just
matter,
thank
yeah,
you
right?
for Trump, man. Thanks. The Trump effect is real.
Right. Right. Winning.
Yeah, man. You said go where? What you want to follow him or something, man? What's going on?
Right. And take all your friends with you.
Yeah, man. Like go, cool, man. You leaving? Hey, man. Listen, if you weren't transgender, I would take you to the airport, but I can't get caught in the
Right.
car with transgender.
Right. That's just
I
OB.
ain't like, man. But if you was just anybody else, man, I would drag you to the airport, man. Um, this is wonderful, man. Leave, man. Now, what do you think about what are y'all saying about all the freebies? They're cutting off the freebies. They're starting to cut the freebies off, man, for the
For immigrants,
migrants.
for the Venezuelans, man, cut that
Yeah,
shit off. They should have, man, cut that shit off ASAP. Hey, they belong to the black folks, Joe, and the Glider Kings, right?
so tell me this: do you know a lot of people, Hispanics, that voted for Trump
That I know of, like I said, my
personally? Yeah,
circle.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
personally,
yeah,
no.
yeah. No, as you could imagine, what I told you personally. Yes, all of my Hispanic friends voted for Trump. You know what I'm saying? They
Wow,
they all they all fuck with him. I mean, no normal person is gonna support that all that debauchery that the Democrats. You know what I mean? But I also know people that they like Kamala. You know what I mean? My
Latin. I'm talking about men, Latinx men.
oh
How many
no,
Latinx men?
no, almost all the men that I know they voted for Trump. And keep in mind I'm in Chicago. So what does that tell you?
Yeah, man.
I'd be around racists.
I'm telling you. They trying to tell you that you was racist, man.
Right. I mean, shit. I don't know. I know we misogynist. I don't know if we racist though.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing they miscalculated. I talked about that last night. They
Yeah, I remember
completely
that. Yeah.
miscalculated that one. Like
The
they
Sandman and
let
the
in,
burritos.
yeah, but it wasn't that it wasn't even just that they let in Arabs and Latinx people, man. It was that it was all men. It was like
Yeah, that's
literally
true.
99% men.
It was
So
like 98, like 98%, man. 90,
yeah,
95.
yeah, they completely
Yeah. But
miscalculated that.
but them can't vote anyway though. Those people cannot vote.
Well, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, though. Those people can vote because remember, you don't have to have an ID. It's just racist to
Yeah.
ask for an ID. But also,
We,
here's another thing too. Those people influence the native population. Like so, the Arab Americans, they're going to become more Muslim and more devout Muslim and more like it's kind of like this. Like you have a black neighborhood of like nice, well-to-do black people that mow their lawn and go to PTA meetings and shit, and move a bunch of niggas in there. Move a gang of niggas in that neighborhood. It's going everybody gonna start acting like niggas. You know what I'm saying? And it's
yeah,
the same
I've heard
way.
that.
Yeah, it's the same way with other people too. So like, the more migrants you bring from Hispanic countries, the more macho the men gonna get. You know what I'm saying? The
Yeah,
native men.
yeah. I've heard that, Ike, and I gotta don't see it, man. I be seeing the burritos like over and I love you. You know what I'm saying? Like all about all about them, you know? But again, I'm a fish in water in that regard. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like maybe the macho is manifest in a way that I don't understand, you know, because again, these dudes are all about their wives and families in their own weird way, you know?
No, I'm not saying when I say macho, I'm not talking about like mistreating your woman, but like I'm talking about like being like dominant in your family structure, like being the head of the household type shit.
You should be, right?
That's not what America teaches men, though. Shout out to Amalin, man. Salute to you, Amalin. That's not what America teaches you. America teaches you to follow the woman, man. The
You think
woman
so?
is, oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, at least Black America does. I don't know, man. Let's listen to this though. Check this out.
Democrats now own an unpopular brand tainted by extreme progressive policy shifts. Harris, for what it's worth, was elevated to the vice presidency after being a fixture in California politics and ultimately, of course, serving as one of the state senators. Now, reacting to the vote totals in California, Fox News contributor Steve Hilton put it this way: common sense is returning to California. Hilton listed Proposition 36 passing, quote, overwhelmingly, the loss of Los Angeles County District Attorney George Gascon, the losses of the mayors of San Francisco and Oakland, and Republican gains in the state legislature, among other items that proved California was experiencing a shift. Proposition 36 will roll back soft on crime policies. Gascon, a progressive DA who backed those policies, lost his reelection bid in deep blue LA County by more than 20 points. The San Francisco Gate reported as of Thursday, 10 of California's 58 counties flipped from blue to red, choosing Joe Biden in 2020 and Trump in 2024. Joining us now to dive deep into what appears to be a seismic shift in the Golden State is Soledad Ursua of the Manhattan Institute.
Wow. So Trump flipped California. Huh? California? I mean, he didn't win it himself in the presidential election. But it's getting blue out there. People are like, yo, they tired of that shit. And it's a gang of Latinx people out there, man. So yeah, man, it's crazy, man. This Trump effect. People want order, man. People want a strong man. I think another thing about letting the whole third world in and letting crime rage and just letting excesses, transgender bullshit and all that shit rage is that people are now craving order. They want order. They want a strong man to just make everything right, man. You know what I'm saying? We want Trump to come in and make everything right, man, and just do what you gotta do, man.
Yeah, I feel like us and some people like we you gotta stop us kind of deal. Like we're gonna go. It's what we do, you
Yeah.
know. We're just gonna go. And I feel like gliders have a different modus operandi. They're more like tamed, and we
Yeah,
and
no,
I
they're
feel like
just reserved. They have a more
yeah,
reserved nature, and they have a more orderly nature. They're more orderly.
and I've seen that manifest growing up, you know, on like street gangs, like what you just described, where like the chief, the leader, like the shot callers, they would control the guys. Like,
Yeah,
like they would do a thing called like what the fuck they call it? Like whatever word they use, but it meant no one could get high, right? No one
you
could,
talking about white street gangs or
no,
Latinx street gangs?
Hispanic, yeah,
Okay,
Latinx gangs. Like I forget the word they would use. I think it was like X. I forget any, but I
yeah,
remember seeing dudes like they were adhering to that, but they were like trying to sneak getting high. You know what I'm
uh,
saying? But dudes get caught getting high and they would get punished.
right.
So like you gotta stop them, kind of deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they don't have the morality is external. You know what I'm saying? It's an external morality. It needs to be constantly reinforced. And yeah, I mean that's just how we are, man. It is what you can't change it.
Who's followed these trends very closely for years and covers them for us at Unheard. Soledad, thank you for being here.
Hi, and good morning from California.
Maybe you could start, Soledad, by just walking us through some of the results from election night in California, because Californians are always voting on everything, all the various referendums. There's Proposition 36 this time around. There were mayoral races that are of interest, but maybe we just start with Prop 36. Can you tell us basically what happened with that referendum just on election night as voters voted down, what was it, Prop 47 that was overturned, part of it by 36?
Yes, and it feels like a great day in California because crime is now illegal again. And many of these election results, they're still coming in, so we don't know in a lot of these races, and that's because in California, we allow ballots to arrive in the mail up to 7 days after election day. So there are still things changing, but what you see is that Prop 36 has overwhelmingly passed, with 70% of Californians voting in favor. What it ultimately does is it reforms Prop 47. This was passed in 2014. It was a progressive style attempt to reform the criminal justice system. It was basically sold to voters with the false bill of goods. At the time, General Attorney Kamala Harris wrote up the bill as the Safer Communities Act. What we've seen is it's actually made communities much more dangerous. What it did was it took certain felony offenses and downgraded them to misdemeanors. So through this, we've seen this explosion in crime, drug dealing, drug use. We've seen smash and grabs. And so this is really what has affected most Californians today. Many of crimes that would put you in jail, let's say masturbating in public defecation, using meth or heroin. Today, those are just slapped in the wrist misdemeanors. And so when the police are called out, residents are very frustrated because they simply say, hey, this is a quality of life issue. This person is not breaking the law. So Californians have been very frustrated. So what Prop 36 did was reform this. We are going back to common sense policing. You basically have two chances. If you break those, you will end up in jail again. And what it also does is it mandates treatment. So many of these crimes are really crimes of drug addiction. The left tries to cover these up and say that, they're just stealing bread to feed their families. That's not the case. What's happening in California is we have a major drug use addiction crisis. And so people are stealing to feed their drug addiction problems. So thankfully, this will mandate treatment for many of these crimes. And hopefully we can start to get back on the path towards recovery for, tens of thousands of people who are living on our streets.
My understanding is
Wow.
also that George Gascon.
Wow. And all that happened on election night simultaneously with Trump being elected. California voted to make crime illegal again. Wow. What do you guys think about that?
That's the greatest thing that ever happened to California. It's funny. Half my school is Umbrito, like 85%. They're running scared. They're just running scared. They're like, they're scared as hell. I'm
But
like,
are they immigrants or are they like already
some
been
of them are
here?
born here. Some of them are born here, but I think some of their relatives, they ain't do it the right way. So they know what time it is. And I'm like, I looked at them in their face like, you should have never broke the law.
Yo, I would have thought Mark would have been mad they're trying to deport the Hombredas.
Yeah, I'm telling
Nah,
you, man.
nah, I want them Haitians gone too, man. Even though I was gonna work in that, I actually had information on that mayor because I was gonna do the translation to that place, Springfield, Ohio. But I was like, man, get them out of here first, and then I'll fix that.
Yeah, man. That's. I think this is a great thing, man. I think the tone. This is what I was talking about last night. I was talking about the tone that conservatives have. This scared to say you voted for Trump, scared to still say why you voted for Trump. We
Yeah.
won. We gotta let our nuts hang, because if we don't let our nuts hang, we're opening up. It's kind of like this, right? We're up like 42-0, right? And every time we bitch out and kowtow to liberals, that's like a field goal.
Hold up, hold up. Are you telling us to openly defy the sisters? Well, do you know what you're asking of us?
Yeah, I'm telling you to let your nuts hang as
You gotta,
conservatives.
you gotta do like Bill Belichick, man. You up 56 zip, you keep scoring.
Run up the score. Run up the
Yeah.
score. Treat those motherfuckers like you Alabama playing fucking Lincoln Tech.
Take them while they're down. Like we're
Yeah,
playing Alabama. What's it called? Alabama. What the fuck is it? Fuck.
One of those HBCU schools,
Right.
whatever.
yeah,
Alabama A&M.
Tuskegee. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that.
yeah.
Alabama, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Or Tuskegee.
Exactly, man.
Loyola Marymount.
Exactly. Run it up on their ass, cause
We gotta do it. We gotta do it like the Starman did Tuskegee this weekend.
exactly. There can't be no relenting, because you have to understand they're defeated, but they're a dangerous animal. Look at all the trouble they caused in the last fucking 16 years. God. I mean, think about
Yeah.
16 years ago, before Barack Obama was president. The thought of a gay couple getting married was laughable. Now you can say, I'm a guy, I'm a woman, and go box in women's boxing leagues and shit. Because they started with, we just want
Right.
the right to get married. Remember? That's all they wanted. All we want is the right to get married.
But if I was in like North Dakota, I'd feel you, or Idaho. But I'm like in the thick of it, chief. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I agree with you, but I was talking to these two sisters, right? And they were all in on this abortion shit. I like for me to have pushed back more than what because I did push back, Chief. I did, right? And you know that.
That's not what I'm talking about when I say let your nuts hang. I'm not talking about getting in frivolous arguments with idiots. I'm talking about if you got a view on something, say it. If you feel something should be a certain way, profess it. But yeah, no, you don't
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
get in arguments with sisters and
That I like that.
Latinas
The way you
and
put it, I
white
like
liberal
that.
women. No, you don't have to do that. No, you can
Yeah,
do that
but
for fun if you want to
yeah,
see a
nah,
meltdown
nah.
and shit. But
You
no,
know, take them while they're down. Nah, but you know what? I mean, let's be real. Let's be real. When they told me they were pro-life, I was like, not more than me. I'm super pro. I'm
I'm
pro
telling
pro-choice. Like I was like, yeah, man. Here's a hanger. Go crazy.
you. Yeah, their way of life. Though they've had 12 of the last 16 years as presidents, and look what happened to the country. The country has descended into it like just it's not even a great country anymore. The guy who won ran on make it great again. After the
Right.
first time he ran on make the country great again, they called that racist. That's
It
been a
was never
racist
great.
term for 8 years. Make
Yeah.
the country great again.
It was never great, right? That's what they would tell me. It was never great.
Yeah, so it's like finally his resolve, his and Trump doesn't get enough credit, man. Trump is probably to me, I put him on the level with those guys with Abe Lincoln and fucking Thomas Jefferson and George Washington.
You put
He's
Trump with them?
ascended to that to me, man,
How do you figure? Damn, that's
because he's
crazy.
the greatest. I've been around. I was around for Reagan. I remember Reagan. I remember his aura and the way he ran the country. I seen Clinton. Listen, Donald Trump is the greatest man of our time. And it's been a lot of great men in our time, don't get me wrong. Um, Martin Luther King and them, that was before my day, but of my era, my time, he's the greatest man of our era. I think he's the greatest man.
Yeah.
What
Did you
he
just
did, what he just did after living a life of being just a billionaire and a great man in that realm, then going into TV, dominating TV with The Apprentice and all that shit, and then becoming president, being branded a racist, being locked up, being assassinated, trying to attempted
twice
assassinated, and then coming back and then becoming president and never folding. It's not like he went
convincingly?
to the center. He said, get rid of all these fucking illegals. He went to the right. He went farther to the right and fucking won the presidency. He's the greatest man of our time.
Yeah, he didn't fold to the alphabet group. Think about
Didn't
it. He didn't
fold to
fold
the
to them.
alphabets. Didn't
Think
fold.
about that.
Yeah, listen, and stood alone because a lot of conservatives were not by his side. Many conservatives left him on an island. They left him in his MAGA movement on an
Including his
island.
VP. His VP did that once upon a
Yeah,
time.
exactly. He wasn't like he did a lot of this through this resolve, his own resolve, and he lifted the country up. The country, these were all things
Put him
that
on his
everyone
shoulders.
wanted. These were things we all wanted, but we were all scared that some blue-haired liberal with a butt plug in his ass was going to call us a name. So we were like, I don't want to get called a name by some blue-haired liberal walking around with a butt plug in his ass. So I'm not going to say what I really think. And he gave us the wind beneath our wings to say, hey, blue-haired liberal with a butt plug, I don't give a shit what you think. It's wrong what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah. What about his support for the Jews crew though? Like, what are your thoughts on that? Israel.
That was always going to be. Have you noticed that
Yeah,
all
no
of them
matter
support the
what.
Jews crew?
Yeah, yeah, that's
That
gonna be no matter what.
you can't have everything. You
Yeah,
can't
true.
have everything. You know, I'm a flat
Yes.
earther, and Elon Musk, and he's boys with Elon Musk. I'm a flat earther, so you know I already. But you can't have
Wait.
everything. You
Oh,
can't
you
have
saying
everything.
that Elon is not a flat earther, right? He's like a space guy, right?
Yeah, Elon's a space guy, man. He believe he's blasting rockets out to the fucking sky that are going nowhere.
Wait, so you don't think he's doing it?
No, I think he's blasting the rockets, but I don't think they're going nowhere. There's nothing up there.
Space is fake.
Yeah, there's nothing up there. It's just in whatever's up there. There's a fucking firmament between it. You can't get to it. There's a firmament. The firmament. If you read the Bible, that shit is real. It's called the Van Allen belts. They call it the Van Allen belts, but I call it the firmament from the Bible.
Well, he is the greatest African American right now.
Oh, but he's a great
Who,
man.
Trump? Trump is,
No,
or you talking
Elon
No,
about?
Musk
Elon.
No, Elon Musk is
Oh,
African
he's African,
American.
right? He's South
yeah,
African.
Yeah.
he's a great man. I cannot agree with you on some things. I don't see. I don't have to agree with you on every fucking thing. Elon Musk is a titan. He's a giant. He's a giant, man. These are great men. These are men that are giant. Trump and Elon Musk, they're great men, man. They're gonna go down here 100 years from now.
Yeah,
They're gonna
true.
be George Washington and Thomas Jefferson that they talk
Damn,
about in the history books.
I can see that for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like Trump is going in history, man. He is
Oh
going
yeah.
down in the history books.
Look,
He he ran on that shit and he won.
yeah.
He
Look,
won everybody.
that 2016 run was legendary. He
Yep,
wa- he fucking remember what he did to Bush?
yep,
He
Jeb
destroyed. You
Bush.
never you never heard about from Bush ever again after that.
Ever again. He because he's a man. You got to understand his testosterone. Yeah, he called him low T. Yeah, he called him low T. He destroys people because like you got to think, man. When you fucked 1,000 models, you know what I'm saying? Like you fucked 1,000, maybe more. Because remember, he was the chair of he was the head of the Miss America shit, or the Miss
Right,
Universe shit for all those years.
right.
He's fucked thousands of models, man. This is a man that's just like he on a different level than all them other guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're funny. You're funny as hell. You're making sense though. You're making sense. Fish, what do you think about all of this? Everything he's saying.
I don't think anything is going to fundamentally change that's going to
But
last.
for what he's everything that the points Ike is making though about Trump.
I mean, it sounds nice, but I don't think it's. I think he's going to appoint a bunch of Zionists, and then they're going to do a bunch of milk toast stuff that doesn't really change much, and then it'll go back to normal. Like
So that's
some of his appointments, he's already toted out are questionable, and he's threatening Iran. So I think
But
Well,
the
what if
Jews crew.
what if he doesn't?
I think the Jews crew let him win this time because the Jews crew feels Israel is being threatened, and Trump is more hawkish in the Middle East than Kamala ever would be.
okay, so
Well,
we
what if
got to
he
give
doesn't?
that to get this. We got to give that to get the. You don't think there's always trade offs in the world
Yeah,
stage?
there's definitely trade offs. It's just a matter of do you want to die by a piano getting dropped on your head or do you want to die by 1,000 cuts?
1,000 cuts. I
Yeah,
take a thousand cuts.
that's
What
what
would
we're
you pick?
getting. We're gonna die
What would
either
you
way.
pick, Chief? What's your pick? 1,000 cuts, right?
Yeah, 1,000 cuts, man. 1,000 cuts all day, man.
I like how he's talking, man. I like this immigration shit. I mean, it's a little bit. I gotta be honest with you. You could judge me on this. It's a little bit unsettling, but I like it. But
Yeah, I
Maybe
mean,
maybe you can come join the panel live from Mexico.
yeah, I will. But I just want to talk like that, Chief, about crime, man. Talk about that.
give
Talk
him
about
some
crime
time,
again.
man. It's been a few days, man. It's only been a few days. I know it
But
feels
he's
like
not even in
longer.
office yet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
give him some
but
time.
yeah, you're
Hey,
right. You're right. You're right.
hold on. Let me say this. Everybody, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you support the channel. Take the $5 challenge, man. Let's see if we get some more people to support the channel via PayPal, Cash App, or the Super Chat, monetary. I want to show you guys something about Trump. I want to show y'all something, man. This is who your president is. Shout out to Rabbit Hole Reviews.
Jennifer Hawkins has learned how to make an entrance. These days, right at home among the fashion glitterati.
Weirdo.
Unlike me. So, to immerse myself in her world, there I was, front and centre at Myers' season launch in Melbourne. Where even in a room of stars, it's clear Jennifer shines the brightest.
I like to perform. Catwalk is a performance. It's one of the best things.
There is talk that you have a sort of a prance.
So my dad says, the
Yeah.
party walk. He always goes, do you party walk? I'm like, no. Ew. That's probably the easiest thing I get to do is just like, oh, you just walk. It's fun.
You're telling me it's not rocket science?
Not really, no.
It may not be rocket science, but Jennifer has pony walked away from teenage cheerleader to one of the most marketable models in the country.
I just love what I'm doing. Like it's, pinch me. It's great.
It's been an extraordinary 7-year journey and also an enduring love story because waiting in the wings all that time was the man in Jennifer's life, Jake Wall. Every bloke in Australia reckons that you're a lucky man.
I haven't heard that before. No, I am a lucky man. Very lucky.
I stand in chair and everybody loves the romance of the fact that you're both still together despite her life.
We've had a pretty crazy ride to
Yeah.
get to where we are now. Yeah, it's been up and down, but where we are now is pretty special.
He calms me down because I can be quite hyperactive. And then
And she helps me out.
yeah. So it's nice.
Counteract.
Australia.
20-year-old Jennifer had only been dating Jake for 2 months when she set off for Ecuador in South America for a tilt at the 2004 Miss Universe title.
And I choose the sex of female because females have a lot of say in today's society.
She was considered a rank outsider when she lined up beside the most beautiful women in the world. Then came the moment that would change her life.
And the
winner, Universe 2004 Australia. When they put that crown on my head and I'm just smiling, going, my lips quivering, there's people yelling at me. I had no one there. I had no family members. I didn't know what to do. So I cried. I was just crying. But then after that, I just went, that's amazing. Like, what just happened? Crazy.
I think that Jennifer is the most beautiful Miss Universe that I've seen in many, many years.
Now, that's a big rap coming from a man who's seen more than his fair share of beauty.
You're fired.
Donald Trump, billionaire property developer, highly coiffed self-promoter, and the mogul behind the Miss Universe industry.
You are very, very special. You really are. You're an amazing woman. She was not only beautiful outside, but she was also equally beautiful inside. So I don't say that about many. Believe me, we've had our problems with some of them, and she was really great.
And I've talked to Donald Trump about you. He is a great admirer.
He's lovely. And I met his family. I went to stay on the island that he has, and he's got a golf course on there. And
Of course, as you do, yeah.
Well, yeah, getting on his jet and everything, and that was the eye opener. I'm just going, wow. And his wife's getting on the plane, on the jet with her 20 Louis Vuitton suitcases. And I was like, one day I just want one. And now I do. I got the dream. I'm just like, one, come on.
That Louis Vuitton lifestyle is suddenly her new reality.
Messages about safe sex.
Yeah, man. That's that guy, man. Like we talking about, that's who he was before he became a racist that hates black people and hates Latin people. He was that guy. You know what I mean? That's who Donald Trump was. You know he boned that chick. Press 1. Who here thinks that? I want to know who thinks he didn't bone that chick.
When he said she was beautiful inside, that's when I knew.
Who thinks he didn't bone that chick? I need to know, man.
He definitely grabbed her by the pussy. Sure.
That's what I do. Fuck that.
He palmed that punani for sure. Open hand palm that poom poom.
Yeah.
So you know who made a campaign stop on the Joe Rogan podcast Friday night? And with all the issues Americans are going to be voting on, you know where they started the interview? Take a look.
It was the episode of you when you were on The View. And I think it was 2015 or 2006, like when you were running for president.
Right.
Okay, let's stop there. There's a lot of fake news coming up, so we're going to clear some of it up as it happens. He was actually, in that clip, is 2011, 4 years before he announced.
Hold on, I gotta find that clip, man. That's a classic clip where he was on The View before, with the ladies, man. Damn, where's that clip, man? I thought that was gonna be the clip.
Trump been that nigga forever, dog.
Yeah, man. He's one of the greatest men. Regardless, he ain't perfect. He ain't always, but he's been an icon, man. You talking about somebody who's boning models? That was his job, to go around and bone models, man, and fly around in jet set and beautiful wives and all that shit, man.
Yo, Melania underrated because she older. In her prime, she was bad as hell too, bro.
Here it go, right here. Here it is.
Donald Trump is a billionaire, a real estate mogul, and a television star. But does he really want to add president of the United States to his resume? A lot of people would like him to. Please, let's find out, and please welcome my friend, Donald Trump. We're so happy to have you. Whenever you're on with us, we're very happy. Okay, so I'm going to take you at your word that you have not decided yet when you're going to run, but you're thinking about it, and you've expressed some of your views, which are controversial and in many ways, well, not to her. Okay, you're a Republican, but let's say that you do decide in the spring, right? And your ideas resonate so much. On the other hand, we saw Newt Gingrich apologizing for his marriages and divorces. You've had 3 marriages, 2 sort of uncomfortable divorces. Do you think that the...
Not really. They were very comfortable.
He won't be too long. Do you think that the country, that would bother anybody?
I think the country is doing so badly. They want somebody that's going to help it. I think the country is never been in a position like it is right now. It's being ripped off by every nation, every intelligent nation in the world, whether it's China. They're taking our jobs, they're making all our product, and then they loan us back the money, we pay them interest.
That is
whether
crazy.
it's OPEC, which is, I mean, they're having a field day right now. How about the Arab League? They say, we want you to go in and attack Libya. These are the wealthiest countries in the world. Why aren't they paying us?
Okay,
Why?
so then they changed their mind. But you didn't answer my
No, I did answer your question. I really think
it
people,
won't matter.
I think maybe 10 years ago it would have mattered, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
The fact is, I think people want somebody now that's going to protect them and protect this country, because we're not going to be a great country for long if we keep going the way we're going right now.
If you
When we have France leading the charge, okay, France, this is our new leader. By the way, they led for about 2 hours. After that, nobody's seen them. I don't know if you know that.
geographically, so they should
Just ask a follow-up question.
Lead is the.
Let me just ask a follow-up question to that. Let's say you run. You've given a lot of thought for this. Who would you like as your vice president? Possibly Sarah Palin?
Well, I think it's far too early even to discuss that. I'm going to make a decision sometime prior to June. I'm thinking about it very strongly. I think I'd do a really good job. I think I'd protect this country like it's not being protected. You know, it's funny. So many of the things I say, now politicians are saying, hey, that's right. Why aren't they paying us? If you look at North Korea, South Korea, we're protecting South Korea. They're making a fortune. Let's call it hundreds of billions of dollars of profit on us. We have 25,000 soldiers over there protecting them. They don't pay us. Why aren't they paying
You'd be
us?
treating this like a business.
No, a business with heart.
Okay.
Believe me, there's a lot of heart. It's a business, but it's also a business with heart. We will destroy this country. It won't be a war. If the economics of this country keep going the way they're going, we're not going to have a country.
You're kind of a social liberal, Donald. You know, you're a social liberal. Could you actually get the base to vote for you in the primary?
Well, every poll is saying that I'm the one that does the best. You know, they're doing polls.
They actually have you a higher approval rating than Mitt Romney, Tim Pawlenty, John Boehner. But out of those, if you're thinking of competition within the party to get the nomination, really your biggest competition will be, should you get the nomination, President Obama.
Well, I was the only one. A CNN poll just came out, as you probably saw, and I was the only one that was essentially tied with Obama. Everyone was 10 or 15 points down. So, you know, we'll see. I haven't made a decision. I'll be making a decision, and I will do a good job if I decide yes, and if I win.
Okay. I just was wondering, because you were talking about how all these countries have been doing this. You would admit that this has sort of been business as usual for the last 30 years. I mean, we have. So this is not because it's nothing new. This has been going on. So you're saying you would come in and stop that practice?
It's never been as bad as it is now. We've never had $1.6 trillion in deficits.
It wasn't bad when George Bush left office. So he was the one who left this.
Excuse me. I'm a Republican. George Bush, he gave us Obama. I'm not a big fan of George Bush. I'm not a fan of Obama. I know. She get off his vote.
If you did
And she likes me. She even put me in the movies. She put me in the movies, right? A long time ago. I'm not sure of George. Nothing.
Like they say in the would you say you're fired to him if you did beat him in the general election?
I don't want to trivialize it. You know, we have this show that turned out to be such a success, or maybe that's why I'm sitting here partially, because people have gotten to know me.
What about this? You recently said about President Obama, I'm going to quote you. He grew up and nobody knew him. Nobody knows who he is until later in his life. The whole thing is very strange. What are you driving at there? Are you a birther, Donald?
Let me just say, I was a really good student at the best school. I'm not like a smart guy, okay? They make these birthers into the worst idiots. Why doesn't he show his birth certificate? I think he's probably because I have to, and everybody else has to.
I'm sure.
Excuse me. Why? No, excuse me. I really believe there's a birth certificate. Why? Look, he's smiling. Why doesn't he show his birth certificate? And you know what? I wish he would, because I think it's a terrible pall that's hanging over him. He should show his birth certificate. The other thing, if you go back to my first grade, my kindergarten, people remember me. Nobody from those early years.
That's not true. There are pictures of you. What are you talking about?
Okay, show me a picture.
There are kids in Hawaii. There are people in Hawaii. There are people that he's grown up. No, I haven't seen
pictures. But more importantly, why doesn't he And you know what? I think he probably was, but the word probably
Why
would
should
be.
he, why
the
should
word
he have
prob-
to defend
because you're
himself against,
you know why?
against an accusation?
Because if you're going to be the
You're saying that there is this
Because if you're going to be the president of the United States, it says very profoundly that you have to be born in this country.
Probably he was. No one has ever asked George Bush or said to George Bush, is Hawaii not part of the United States?
George Bush. And I'm not saying I was a fan of George Bush.
No, no.
You know that better than anybody. But George Bush was born in this country. That's right.
Isn't Hawaii still part of the United States? Am I blind?
You know what? I grew up in New York. Wall Street was a big part. I have seen fraud and I have seen scandal and I have seen things that a lot of people don't see. I've seen people take $100 bill and make it $1 million bill.
We're gonna have to pause. Get to the point.
Okay. The point is, I can't rely on some newspaper that they show
In
that.
order to become president of the United States, in order
I
to
want him to show his birth certificate. I want him to show his birth certificate. There's something on that birth certificate that he doesn't like.
Oh my God.
I'm telling you.
I love you. I'm telling you.
Too. I think that's the biggest pile of dog mess I've heard in ages. It's not because
It's nothing to do with it.
any white president asked to be shown the birth certificate.
Let him show his birth certificate.
It just only lets people have doubt and it shouldn't be their
It
apprentice.
doesn't matter. It's doing good. Ready to throw the this is how it-
More of this when we come back.
Well, to give credit to Whippy, she did have that energy for him.
But
Man,
not like she
Whoopi's
do
old
now.
hating
She's a
ass.
wacko now. She just it took her a while to get to the race thing. It took her a while. But here's the thing. Look how he held his own. I mean, he's surrounded by cackling hens. And he held his own. Like a true man. Like men should study that. Young men should study that clip on how to hold your own and to stand firm on whatever you believe in a room full of fucking cackling, fanatical women. Press one.
Yeah, they
Salute to
shouldn't vote.
LRS.
That's
Period.
facts.
Yeah. Cool Cat says, thank God Trump won and I'm feeling amazing tonight. I saved the guy's life by doing CPR, even though everyone said he was dead, to just move on. And he's only 18. I couldn't do that. He overdosed, but Love Nation me out. Wow, that's amazing, man. You saved the guy's life tonight, man. That can't go unrecognized, man. Everybody salute to Cool Cat, man. Saving a life, man. As a I think you're a paramedic, right? Or you work in a hospital or some shit like that. But yeah, Cool Cat saved the guy's life tonight. Shout out to you, man. That guy's probably waking up. That's a thankless job. It's a thankless job. Like being the president, man. Like being the president, man. But yeah, I think we're talking about a guy who's around women. He doesn't let them check him. I don't think he's ever been checked by a woman. I don't think he's ever been like told off or told to be small or say the right thing. You can't say that because I'm a woman and I said you can't say that. He says whatever the fuck he wants to say, whenever the fuck he wants. He don't give a shit what no goddamn woman thinks about it. He's an inspiration.
Yeah, like, I agree. I mean, shoot, I was telling people at my job, they would be like, "Why do you like Trump so much?" I'm like, "Because he's awesome. Everything that he fucking says, it's off the dome and it's right there." I was like, I wish that I can have the comebacks that he did. You know, but there's a part of me that knows that I don't want the smoke. I don't want the blowback. You know, I don't want the controversy. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
But I salute those who do, who want the fight, who don't run from it.
No, I got you 100%. Because especially when you're him, like the smoke he gets is insane. I mean, he's Donald Trump. He gets like called a racist and shit. They call him a fucking racist. They call this guy a fucking racist. This guy's not no fucking like.
They call him. I mean, they call him. They've called him everything. They've called him the Antichrist.
Yeah, fucking racist. This is 2011. He went on The View, just like he went in the National Journal of Black Journalists, whatever the fuck, Association of Black Journalists, and that lady was so rude to him early on in the campaign.
I like that. He had balls on that one.
Yeah, he goes in front of any of these bitches, and he not gonna let them punk him.
And you know, the Sun, we respond to that. You know, it's not even about who wins the argument; it's about who got told off.
Yeah.
Bad precedent, but we love him so. We've asked Donald Trump to stay to the second segment. Real fast, could you beat Obama?
I think if I run and win and get the nomination, I definitely think I could beat Obama. We're doing very, very poorly as a country. I think I could beat him.
Okay.
Yes, you do. Okay.
I want to change it up.
Or I wouldn't run.
Right. You didn't think. All right. We're going to change it a little bit and go to Celebrity Apprentice. You got a crazy cast this season, Donald. I want to start with one of the people you do.
Okay, we'll do that. But yeah, we talking about a man's man, a real man, and in this time of Kevin Samuels and Andrew Tate and all these other people, coming to prominence amongst men, the manospheres and all that stuff. He resonated with men, man. Guy just holds his own, even if you can't quite put your finger on it, even if you can't quite, verbalize what it is about him. It's that. It's like in a room full of fucking crazy ass fucking liberal nut job women. No, the black guy's not from here. You can't say that. The black guy's not from here. The black president wasn't born in America. You can't say that though. That's not politically correct. The black guy's not from America.
Yeah.
Yeah, cancel culture doesn't work if women have no political say.
Yeah, man. They can't shame him. They can't tell him, hey man, that's not, you can't say that. And to a degree, they're right. You can't say that. But he can't. He can say it. He don't give a shit.
Yeah, he can. It's like stand-up comedy all the time.
Yeah. He can say it. He don't give a shit. He don't give a fuck. He'll say it. He'll call a broad ugly.
Dog, there was this one tweet, I think it was on True Social. I'm talking about that boy, Trump said, pretty soon Kamala's inferior intellect will be exposed. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, you can't talk about black people. When you're talking about black people, you can't say anything about inferior intellect. And I'm not saying that all black people have inferior intellect, but as a country and as a world, everybody's kind of inwardly knows that. So it's like saying it publicly is very uncomfortable and it's taboo, and you can get, but he said it. He don't give a shit. And he said it not only about a black person, he said about a alleged black woman.
Yeah, and what was crazy is that when he said that, I didn't hear the news try and pick that shit up and say, look at how evil and racist this man is. Nobody said anything about it.
Because he says it when you stand on it. When you just stand on it, I remember like I used to be like that a little bit, like I would like especially with women, like I being from DC, you meet a lot of women, you cold approach a lot of women and shit. You very comfortable, introducing yourself to women and meeting women and shit in public, right? And I would say some crazy stuff that probably wasn't crazy to dudes that I knew, but would be crazy like dudes that weren't from around where I was from. And I would just say that shit. Man, I smack girls on their ass. I'd be hanging out at the club, see some girl slap her on her ass. Pow, she turned around like, oh my God. And I just be standing there staring at her like, what's up? I mean, you just like sometimes when you just do shit, it the audacity and shit and the goddamn gall of you just doing that shit. We see that a lot of times with like black dudes that shoot up the place. Like, think about the guy who shoot up the HBCU 100-year anniversary. This HBCU's having its 100-year anniversary. This nigga pulls out a gun and lets off like 1,000 shots. And it's like, if he had gotten away, nobody would have told on him. It was, you know what I'm saying? Like the police luckily caught him when he was running away, but he could have theoretically gotten away with that if the circumstance had bounced right, just off the sheer audacity of it. You know what I'm saying? And we see that all the time in the world. Audaciousness, man, boldness.
Yep.
People really can't. Sometimes they can't. They don't have no defenses for that shit, man. Just like, wow.
Man, there's this book. So I remember I asked you about first time I ever got on the panel. I was asking you about Ralph Ellison's Invisible Man, if you read it.
Right.
But so Ralph Ellison, one of his mentors, he's the dude named Richard Wright, and Richard Wright wrote a book called The Native Son, or just Native Son. They've remade the movie several times, like since the 60s. And they even have one in the 80s that had Oprah playing it. But it's man, I tell you, it's a real bleak film about about the Sun Man. And this is written by a black dude. And I mean, to tell the story, I mean, I don't even want to tell the story, but at the end of the day, it's a senseless killing by we'll for lack of better words, we'll say an innocent black man. Your typical, even though this book was written in 1940, we're talking about your typical Sun man that wants to, rather than, because he lives in a one room apartment with his mom. He's like 19 years old and he has like a 7-year-old brother, and he has to get out work because they're gonna cut the lights off type shit. He's always talking about, oh, white people suck. White people suck. I hate white people. They hate me, so I hate them. And while he's narrating, he's really telling you that he knows nothing about these white people. He's just going on his xenophobia. And at the end of the day, he ends up killing the white people that he works for. He ends up killing their daughter, accidentally, of course. He kills them accidentally, but he still kills her. And when he kills her, he has to hide the body. So he's like, "Fuck, how am I gonna hide the body?" So he's like, "I'll stuff the body in the furnace." So he drags the body downstairs. It doesn't fit in the furnace, so he has to find a hatchet and hack off her head so he could put it in the furnace. And then he puts the body there. Then he's like, "I'm gonna write a ransom note, and then I'm gonna have my girl, little hood chick that he's fucking with. He's like, I'm gonna have my girl send over this ransom note, and I'm gonna show up to work the next day because he's working as a driver, and the people that he's working for, it happens to be an actor. And then, of course, the actor, they have a daughter, a liberal daughter who is a communist, and she has a communist boyfriend. So, they're talking that communist bullshit, like, dude, the black kid's name is Bigger. They're like, Bigger, one of these days, you and me, we're going to be brothers. When this revolution starts, we're going to be brothers. And, it's like the same shit. But he still kills it. And without a doubt, because he, at one point, I was like, oh shit, he's about to rape this bitch. But no, he wasn't. He was helping her upstairs because, they went out and they drank. And despite all that, while they're going out, he's narrating it. He's making it seem like, oh, if anything happens to me, they find me with this white girl, oh, that's it for me. I'm gonna get fired. Then I'm gonna have to hear mama's mouth. But meanwhile, the daughter and her communist boyfriend, they want to fit in. They're like, Digger, take us to the cool jazz spots that you go to. So they take him there. He's with his friends. They're eating chicken. They're asking him to drink some beer. He doesn't really want to, but he does. Then, he drops off the boyfriend, takes the girl back home because he's working for him. She's drunk, helps her upstairs. And at that point, you're like, I'm thinking, oh, I hope this nigga hope you don't try and grape her or whatever. And sure enough, the mom comes in. So he puts a pillow over her because the mom's blind and he doesn't want her to know that she's upstairs. So that's how he kills her.
Smothered her. Smothered her.
Yeah, smothered her. Yeah, accidentally, But it was just that his idea, like how he thought he was going to be able to just get away with it. And then he ends up, and then, he goes to his girlfriend and he pretty much tells his girlfriend about it. And then he's like, fine, you want to know what happened? Just know that white girl ain't coming back and we gonna get some money and we gonna get out of here. And she's like, oh, Bigger, I can't believe what you did. You killed that girl. You killed her. And you always get me in trouble. I hate you, Bigger. Man, Bigger ends up killing his girlfriend, She pissed him off, he kills her. And then he forgets that, the pay that family gave him, he gave it to that girl. So now he has no money. So, he's basically just trying to survive the night while he's being chased by the police and private detectives. And, when he comes back, he gets his fair trial. And when he gets his fair trial, the only person who's going to cover him, who's going to be a lawyer, is a Jew and, a communist. And he's not a communist, but he's like, Bigger, I just want to know why. Why did you do it? You don't seem like a bad kid. He's like, and his answer was, I don't know. I don't know why I did. I just did it. Like, yeah. And they're like, but you killed your girlfriend. Why'd you do that? He's like, I don't know why I killed her. She just made me upset. She always gets mad that I don't tell her stuff, and then when I told her stuff, she freaks out. I guess I lost my cool. But it's like they were trying to prove a point that.
And this is Richard Wright,
wrong with this nigga. Something wrong with his mind.
This is Richard Wright that wrote this, right?
Is Richard Wright. Yeah, this is Richard Wright's native son.
Yeah. And yeah, my mom, she's the author. She loved Richard Wright, man. She loved Richard Wright. I gotta read that book because that book seems like it should be taught everywhere. It seems like Black people would read that and get would see it as like a story about oppression, but it's not.
They will though. Look, let me tell you, the sad part is that they've already done in 2019. They redid it, and I think they just called it Native, but it's the same story. And it is going to be that. It is going to be an oppressive story. They did another one. They did one in 1986, and that one with that had Oprah in it. That one, they treated him well. I guess what they're trying to say is, despite everything else, because he, the book is he commits murder. He just cold-blooded murder without thinking. It's something that we see all day, every day. If you watch First 48, you should know that that's how it is. That's what a Sun Man does. Not saying that other races don't do it, but we know that a Sun Man will do it.
Spades. In spades, we do that shit in spades, man. We do that shit. We do that shit. Let me show you this. Let me show y'all this. Man.
Now to the district where a woman was ready to go shopping instead is carjacked. And she says it was a child who was threatening her. Take a look with a gun. DC News Now's Daniel Hamburg joining us live there on 14th Street in Southeast. And Daniel, walk us through these terrifying moments.
Well, Susan, I talked with this woman tonight who said she entered this Safeway parking garage just before 6:30 Wednesday night, expecting to get groceries, but instead found herself the victim of an armed carjacking by kids. When the victim, who we're not identifying for her own safety, entered the Safeway garage, she saw two kids up to no good.
I thought they were just going to break into cars and steal things. No way did I think that they were going to steal my car. They just looked too young to be that big of a threat.
She parked, popped her trunk to get her grocery bags.
And then turned around, and there was one of them, the taller one, pointing the gun at me and said, "Give me your keys." So I tossed them in the air to distract him so I could run. I wanted to save my wallet, my phone.
Watching from a distance, she says it took them a minute to drive away. But before they did, she ran back up to grab these two pictures.
The youngest one looked between 10 and 12. The older one, no older than 14, I would think.
So far this year, there have been 431 carjackings, 71% involving guns. And of the 122 people arrested, 59% are juveniles.
There's a reason that the carjackings are high, because kids are getting away with it. So what do you do to dissuade the children, and they were children, from doing this?
While the numbers are still high, DC police data shows year to date, carjackings are down 48%.
If there's no punishment or circumstances for your actions, then citizens will just continue to be mugged, robbed, carjacked. So I hope that this will draw attention to it. I hope that somebody who's in a position to make changes will do so.
Now, if you do know who those kids are, or you know where the car is, you are asked to call police. There is a $10,000 reward that you can get for any information that leads to an arrest and conviction of anyone accused of a violent crime in DC.
I mean, sure. It's wild.
Water is wet.
Man. That white lady, and that white lady, regardless of what she said in that video, that white lady voted a Democrat up and down the ballot. And if there was a proposition that she felt might affect Black people negatively, or a referendum on the ballot too, she voted against it. I'm telling you, I know these DC white liberals. They'll get on TV and talk. Even then, she tried to, she was trying to minimize it, but
They act like you just put graffiti on a trash can or something. Like they try to make these super violent encounters or somehow so much less than what they actually are.
Yeah, that counter was fraught with danger, because when she threw the keys and then ran, a lot of instinct with these young Blacks is when there's movement or fast movement or fleeing, they shoot at you for fleeing. That's very common. She's very lucky that she wasn't shot at. Salute to Deluxe 247, aka Cal Ripken, aka the real MVP, coming through once again.
We begin with the exclusive video you just saw, that outburst in court. The disturbance happened after that murder suspect was found guilty of killing a Miami-Dade high schooler over a popular pair of those Yeezy sneakers. NBC6's Jamie Garola joins us from the courthouse with the story you'll see only right here on 6.
The jury had just handed down its verdict, and the family was given a victim impact statement to the judge, calling the defendant a monster, when suddenly this happened.
defendant, Adrian Cosby, jumped out of his chair and tried lunging at the victim's family before court officers intervened. Cosby was taken out of the courtroom and his whole family left. It took a few minutes for order to be restored. Cosby was just found guilty by a jury of murder, attempted murder, and attempted robbery. First-degree felony murder. The defendant is guilty of first-degree felony murder. In 2020, 18-year-old high school senior Angela Kyle lost her life over a pair of Yeezy sneakers. She and her boyfriend were trying.
He killed her over some Yeezys, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but you know, we've seen people get killed over less.
Look at that beautiful young girl, man. And I know they said something about her boyfriend, so it was probably her boyfriend that is the reason she crossed paths with this ape. But it's just like this happens all the time. The amount of times ape like that kills a dainty little flower like this, and she could be a terrible person, but I'm just talking about the aesthetic. You know what I'm saying? It's just amazing. And like what I said earlier, like this is going to be addressed. Trust me. It's just not. He didn't run on it, so he doesn't have to like make waves about addressing it. It's going to be addressed by It's going to be addressed by everyone because the country's leaning conservative, just like we saw in California. They literally just addressed it on election Tuesday. Everywhere is starting to address this. There's no reason that he should be killing this woman. This is like fucking King Kong. This is literally like the cover to the King Kong movie. You know what I'm saying? Like they fucking ain't just dragging this woman, putting this woman over his shoulder, dragging her back to his cave and shit. This is like a modern version of that.
I think that time was safer.
And then he's trying to fight her family in court. It's outrageous. This is insanity, man.
Yeah. No, I mean it is insanity, but this is how far things have gone. I don't know. And I don't really think personally, I don't think that it will take much for people to lose this audacity that they have, for them to get humbled really quick, and it's gonna come with like some stiff punishment.
Yeah, the country's ripe. The country's ripe for taking care of this right now.
Mm-hmm. It's like
it's in the pocket. It's kind of like the beat. It's like a dope beat where anybody can kill it. Like fucking goddamn some mumble rapper can rap on it, but because the beat is so dope, or fucking goddamn fucking Papoose can rap on it. Anybody can rap on this beat. You feel me? The way the country is.
Yeah, and then the good thing is that black, these black radical leftist liberal chicks, they're all trying to be on code and remove themselves from whatever the fuck they saying that they're removing themselves from, and that's
Yeah,
like
they're taking
good.
that ball and going home.
Right on time.
Right,
Where we
good. Get the fuck out the way.
Yeah, hell yeah. We don't need
Please.
your ass protesting. We don't need your ass protesting to spare this guy's life. We need to vote on the ways of execution for people like this.
Yeah, nobody's complaining that black women are exiting the public stage because they're mad that Kamala lost. No one's stopping you. It's how you ever seen that movie where like when this girl's like she runs out of the room and she expects somebody to come after her and nobody comes after her.
Right.
Oh, it's like
Right.
the kid runs away, and it's like you run away because you want to see how many people care about you. That's a lot of times why kids run away because they want their what I'm saying, they want attention. But what if you ran away and your parents was just like, all right, cool.
Yeah, I know. I mean, this is yeah. I mean, but what you just said is exactly what they're doing. I mean, i.e., these women are acting like children and toddlers.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, God dog, I can only imagine maybe about we'll just say February 2025. I can just imagine that these same angry leftist retards. I can imagine them saying the audacity of black men not even checking on us. So what we said that so what we said we were divested on y'all. But the fact that you can't even check on your sister and see that she's okay, that she don't need somebody
Yeah.
to talk to, that she can't, man. I'm telling you, man. It
Nah,
ain't.
go. We cool. We good. Listen,
Mhm.
this ape right here killed this beautiful fucking Latina girl and then fucking tried to kick her family's ass in court. Man,
Mhm.
fuck that, man. This is the type of guy black women always take up for. We good.
Yeah, stay out of that.
Adrian Cosby jumped out of his chair and tried lunging at the victim's family before court officers intervened. Cosby was taken out of the courtroom and his whole family left. It took a few minutes for order to be restored.
Man,
Cosby
this
was
ain't.
found guilty by a jury of murder, attempted murder, and attempted robbery.
First degree felony murder. The defendant is guilty of first degree felony murder.
In 2020, 18-year-old high school senior Angela Kyle lost her life over a pair of Yeezy sneakers. She and her boyfriend were trying to sell the popular shoes, but the sneaker sale escalated to murder when Lakyle was shot and killed. Her boyfriend, Sergio Bourbon, survived the shooting and told jurors he and his high school sweetheart were hoping to sell the popular Yeezy sneakers to a man for over $900. Bourbon claims Cosby, the man that was...
They went to sell something for worth $900 to this nigga.
Okay, well, that's their dumbass fault.
Yeah, at this point, like, yeah, I gotta charge. I gotta put this on their docket now.
Get the fuck out of here! Like, what the
Because
what?
he's just living. He's just being him. He didn't really do anything wrong. He's just doing what he do. You went to sell something worth. I don't give a fuck if it was $9. He still might have killed you for the if the shit was worth $9. He still may have killed you.
Oh, so okay, I get it now. So they were So you had a Democrat, Democrat Latinos, some Latinxes and shit. They can shit. I don't know. That's their
Yeah,
bad.
yeah. You can under no circumstances can you bring something, especially shoes or jacket, clothing, things that like peacocking type
Phones.
items. Yeah, you can't do that. It would have been hard enough for that boyfriend, who we presume is not gang affiliated, not like, from the set or known throughout the city, got a team of hitters. It to even walk past that black guy with those shoes on. It would have been hard enough for him to just be in the same space with a $900 pair of shoes on, that black guy. Let alone, hey man, bring $900 in exchange with me for these shoes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't get it, but whatever.
Yeah, he
I
killed his
imagine.
girlfriend. He
Yeah.
killed his girlfriend. This is
Mhm.
the murderer right here.
Yeah, and he survived. Ain't that some shit?
Yeah, he should be on trial for killing his own girlfriend. You killed
Mhm.
her, sir. You killed your girlfriend.
That's who the daddy needs to direct the anger at.
Press 1.
In 2020, 18-year-old high school senior Angela Kyle lost her life over a pair of Yeezy sneakers. She and her boyfriend were trying to sell the popular shoes, but the sneaker sale escalated to murder when Kyle was shot and killed. Her boyfriend, Sergio Bourbon, survived the shooting and told jurors he and his high school sweetheart were hoping to sell the popular Yeezy sneakers to a man for over $900. Bourbon claims Cosby, the man that was on trial, randomly approached to kill him. Cosby was charged with murder in the first degree along with attempted murder for shooting at Bourbon. Here's the state's closing arguments today before the jury started deliberating.
This was an attempted robbery, a setup of a robbery that went bad. And instead of walking away with 3 pairs of Yeezys, Adrian Cosby took an 18-year-old girl's life. And for that, he is absolutely guilty. He is guilty of first-degree felony murder. He is guilty of attempted first-degree felony murder, and he is guilty of attempted armed felony. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we are asking you to find.
Now, Cosby denies being the shooter. The defense argued that the victims are confusing who pulled the trigger. Cosby was sentenced today, and he was sentenced to life in prison in Miami.
Yeah, man.
This shit's made in China.
Boyfriend should be sentenced. They should at least get a boyfriend like 5 years or something for just for being a fucking accessory to the crime.
Exactly.
Fucking
You go sell
moron.
stuff to some people online.
Yeah, just don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't try to say, well, this is a good one, or well, this guy sounds like, because that's.
Oh, it'll be in public. It's fine.
No.
Oh, we'll meet at a gas station. Everybody will be No, that's all bullshit.
Yeah.
Listen, I remember when I had to sell my air conditioner, I had to break it down to the sister. I was like, listen, it was a Umbrito, but I let her meet me at the police station. I made every way for her to be safe, so she could know I'm not the typical son man.
Yeah, but even then, she was wrong because now she's had a encounter selling with a Sun Man, so now her defenses are down. So the next time she'll do it again, and the next time it won't be you. It'll be fucking Marquavius, man. That's why you just don't do it. You know what I'm saying? At all.
DCS says thankfully that man is out of the hospital recovering at home. But this incident is raising concerns about safety. And again, we want to warn you, this video is disturbing. A vicious, unprovoked attack recorded by the attacker, streaming live on Facebook as police say he attempted to kill a state employee. Mesa police say this happened on Tuesday around 5 p.m. inside this building at Alma School Road in Southern, an Arizona Department of Child Safety office. The suspect, DeAndre Terrell Johnson, beginning his life.
DeAndre Terrell Johnson. DeAndre Terrell Johnson.
You see the Sun Man go on a mass stabbing spree out in Washington?
Oh, that was a Sun Man.
Yeah.
I heard about it, but I didn't follow up on it because I was
Yeah,
off.
Some man trying to get in the white leagues now.
Road in Southern, an Arizona Department of Child Safety office. The suspect, DeAndre Terrell Johnson, beginning his live stream as he sat down with a DCS employee to discuss his case involving his children.
With all this DCS, I want to introduce you so that we can have a proper introduction on this.
Growing agitated when the employee doesn't want to be in his live stream.
I want to introduce you. Don't be afraid. You hold a public position, man.
At the end of the hour-long meeting,
You want that?
Johnson puts the employee in a chokehold, attempting to strangle him. 2 minutes go by. The employee doesn't appear to be moving.
He was a dummy.
Then you hear witnesses in the
And that's another thing too. If you're a white guy, nobody. If that was reversed, if a white guy was choking a black guy, somebody would have intervened after like 10 seconds. Like, and people just would have naturally intervene.
Yeah, yeah.
White guys
I
getting
know I
choked
would.
out in a public building. People just walking by.
Yeah, that's crazy. They probably thinking, damn,
Did
I
he
wonder
kill
what that
him?
do.
That's a long time to get choked. 2 minutes, man. I've been choked for like 10 seconds. I've been choked for like 10 seconds, man. I went and got a gun and tried to kill the guy after that shit happened. Like literally, that's how bad that shit was. 10 seconds of just not being able to breathe. I went and got my gun. I ain't gonna lie to you, Jack. I tried to kill that nigga. At
Did
10
he kill
seconds
him?
of being choked. Because that's just a feeling of like when I grew up, when you fight, like no kicking, nothing. We just be you with the fist, you know what I'm saying? Like this nigga was trying to choke me. This nigga had his forearm, this part of his arm against my shit, and he was on top of me and he was choking me like that. African dude, man. I was like, oh shit, man. I was like, fuck that, man. I that feeling, I was like, oh, I had already made up my mind. Like while it was happening, I said, if I ever get out of this, I'm gonna kill this guy. So I had already made up my mind while it was happening. So this guy being choked for 2 minutes, that's horrifying, man. That's horrifying. Yo.
Yeah, yeah. He's
So did the
probably gonna have.
dude die?
Hold on, let's see. Let me um
Johnson puts the employee in a chokehold, attempting to strangle him. 2 minutes go by. The employee doesn't appear to be moving.
He was a dummy.
Then you hear witnesses in the background.
He was a dummy.
The whole attack lasting 2.5 minutes.
He's still breathing. I make my
Records obtained by 12 News show multiple people called 911 and Johnson left. First responders finding the victim lying on the ground injured in an altered state of consciousness. As he was taken to the hospital, police began their search for Johnson, and when they found him, he fled, prompting a pursuit. Officers deploying a grappler, but that still didn't stop him. He was ultimately tracked down and arrested within 3 hours of the assault. This violent attack raising questions about security for DCS employees. Earlier this year, citing budget cuts, DCS cut ties with a security company which provided guards to protect caseworkers during visits at a Phoenix field office, leaving some employees questioning the department's priorities. In response to Tuesday's assault, staff received an email reminding employees to use an emergency communication software they have access to in case of an emergency, and to consider meeting with parents in pairs. When 12 News asked if those measures would prevent a similar attack from happening again, a DCS spokesperson said, although there is no way of predicting or stopping an unprovoked attack, Alert Media can help in receiving immediate law enforcement response in escalated situations or when a staff member feels unsafe. This victim, who DCS says is now at home recovering, later told police from the hospital that Johnson threatened his life a week prior, but he was able to calm him down. Doctors described his injuries to police as absolutely serious, saying the victim almost died. Johnson now faces an attempted first-degree murder charge, in addition to 2 counts of aggravated assault and unlawful flight from police. DCS says it's conducting a comprehensive review of this incident. Johnson is being held on a $500,000 cash bond. We're in Mesa. Bianca Bono, 12 News.
So he got a bond, so he could technically go home to be around his children. Yikes.
It's crazy. That's crazy. The nigga probably about to get a lot of bitches after that.
Wait.
Shit.
Why the cappuccino? It's all on my face, but I'm not Al Pacino. Man. Hey. Wow.
That's wild, man. That's wild.
Yeah, that was fucking wild
I'm
as
talking
shit.
about that set up to take, like, man, fuck. Hey, man. I mean, just sounds like a militant guy that wanted to have his moment.
Yo, brothers, and listen, brothers, it don't stop. Like it can't stop, won't stop. Rockefeller Records.
And we starting tonight, we're learning new details about last night's homicide as a community event at Union Labor Park. The Polk County Sheriff's Office identified the victim as 46-year-old Michael Carter Jr. Members of the community are now reacting to that violence. Local 5's Alex Bolton heard from attendees and organizers on what they saw happen that night. Alex, what did they tell you?
Well, Larissa, attendees and organizers alike say Big's Big World started out just like normal, with people of all ages enjoying local hip-hop artists. That is until gunshots ring out. Balloons and bouquets of flowers now sit at Union Labor Park.
That poor situation had nothing to do with the event at all. And my condolences to the family.
The memorial is for 46-year-old Michael Carter Jr., who was shot and killed at the park around 7:30 Saturday night. The Polk County Sheriff's Office says it is investigating Carter's death as a homicide.
I'm just mad that it was just ruined for so many people, man, from the grandmas that came out, the kids that was just having a good time.
The homicide happened at Big's Big World, a hip-hop event meant to raise awareness for mental health. In addition to local hip-hop artists, the event featured vendors as well as a speech from community leader Rob Johnson, who left just before the shooting.
When I heard about it, I was like, man, it happened at the event, unfortunately, but also at the event was an opportunity for people to know that we have to really start taking this mental health conversation very serious.
A mobile Focus response team member from the nonprofit Focus tried their best to perform CPR on Carter, but he died from his injuries.
When those incidents happen, everyone is affected. I mean, heck, little kids out here, adults, grandparents. Everyone's going to be affected for what was a beautiful event.
Now, no suspect has been identified by authorities just yet. Anyone with additional information is being asked to reach out to the Polk County Sheriff's Office. Larissa.
Good news. No suspect, man. No suspect. You talk about audacity, man. Just fire a bunch of shots down at the fucking outdoor hip hop concert, man. Jeez. Salute to everybody. Let me see who we got here, man. Shout out to shout out to all you guys, man. Appreciate all you guys coming through tonight, man. I'll be going home on Wednesday, man. Wednesday I'll be going back to Pennsylvania, man. So but salute to all the guys for the stream, man. Joining the stream, man. Any final thoughts from anybody, man?
I saw a weird combination. A Patel Juice Crew dude when I was in the plane.
Yeah, Yarmouth on?
Yeah, that shit threw me off. I was like, what the hell? Yeah.
Yikes.
That shit was, I was like, I wish Fish would have saw that shit.
You just took a picture of him, man.
Nah,
I know, man. That shit would have been wild. That
I
shit would have been
should have,
wild.
man.
That shit would have hit about 100K likes and shit.
Word. Yo, it was the first time I ever seen that. I'm like, an American Airlines.
Yeah, that's wild. That's strange. Very strange. Yeah. Hey man, be out there.
Save Black Time, Save Black Channel. I'm out of here. Peace out.
Salute to the king.